Would you stand with me for the invocation of pledge allegiance, please? Father, we come to you this evening to ask for your blessings and your grace. We ask that you watch over all of our family and all of our friends and keep them through the tough times that some of them are going through right now. We ask you to bless this meeting and help us as we deliberate the business of the city. We'd ask that you watch over all of our policemen and firemen and keep all of them safe. We'd ask all these things in your name, and amen. Mr. Skogstad, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So before you all sit down, would you please join me up front?
Yeah.
Chief? Sergeant? Yes.
Sure. What? Okay.
Assume the position. Greg, I apologize that there aren't more people here this evening. So we're going to put everybody up here, and so when he takes this picture, it looks like a full crowd.
Yeah.
All right? So, Chief, if you'd give a few opening remarks, please.
Sure. So on May the 9th, I believe, the Governor's Highway Safety Program had their awards luncheon in Charleston. And this awards luncheon consisted of everybody that had participated in the Governor's Highway Safety Overtime Grants for traffic enforcement. So this program provides traffic enforcement overtime all over the state of West Virginia. So there were 555 different police officers who worked these grants, and these grants included distracted driving, seat belts, red lights, DUIs, and whatnot. So we go down there, and they had let us know before we got there that Sergeant Greg Britton, he was the #1 officer in the state of West Virginia for productive enforcement, which means the ratio of citations versus time worked. So out of 555 police officers, Sergeant Greg Britton was #1, which I was absolutely delighted, making our streets safer, making our community safer, and in turn, got largely because of him, the Vienna Police Department was the #1 productive enforcement agency overall in the state of West Virginia. So, Greg, congratulations, which I've told him that before. Really proud of all your effort for safer roads. And it's not some kind of quota thing for us. This was out here to make it safer. The Governor's Highway Safety, they put on that money. Officers go out here and work overtime to make it a safe place to be. So, excellent job.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
If you'd hold that award up, that would be great.
All right.
Bob, if you'd like to join us for this picture, you are welcome to do that. You can represent the governor's office. And you can stand right here beside me.
Get the purse straight. Let's get up
Right
here.
here beside me. Okay?
You're good. We're in.
All right.
Good job.
Thank you.
Great job. Thanks, Greg.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great.
You missed
He
the
gets a proper representation.
Those little things lead to big things.
They do. I should have added, when you said that, little things lead to big things. I had on here, and I was gonna share it with you, but I had to write this down because I didn't want to get it wrong. 100, out of that grant work across the state, 102 fugitive arrests came from that traffic grant. 690 drug arrests were made because of the traffic grants in 2022, which I will add, Greg, now this is no pressure or anything, this is 2 years in a row he's won this award across the state. So we've got, and I'll show it to you up here. Here's the agency award for Vienna PD as well. So it really happened. I just come up here and tell a story. So we got a plaque to prove.
Rising tide lifts all boats, man. Good job.
All right, thank you.
Chief, you're dismissed because I know you have places to be.
I do, I'm sorry, I got another engagement I have to be at, but, thank you, and thanks for
We've got a
recognizing.
riveting agenda. I can't believe you're leaving.
I appreciate it. Well, I'll get on next time, too. I'll be on there.
Did anybody sign in for public forum?
It was just me.
Okay,
That was
great.
it.
All right, fantastic.
All right.
All right. So I'd like to call to order this regular session of the Vienna City Council for May the 25th, 2023. Let the record reflect that I've taken roll, that all members are present with the exception of Councilman Bibby. Councilman Azinger is joining us by phone this evening. We have no one that signed up for the public forum this evening, so we'll continue with our agenda. The minutes from May the 11th, 2023 have been printed, posted, and circulated. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If there are no objections, then the minutes will stand approved as posted. We have no unfinished business this evening, and so we will go right on to our new business. We did the recognition of Sergeant Britton first because he's somewhere to go. So we'll move on to item 2, which is the ordinance on first reading, amending 114501, and that's definitions, and the other's 114505, and that's the authority to take possession of abandoned vehicles, and 1145.10, junk on private property of the Vienna Municipal Code, changing the definition of junk motor vehicles and requirements for property owners to cover or house junk motor vehicles or personal property on private property. So, be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of Vienna that Vienna Municipal Code 1145.01, 1145.05, and 1145.1 are amended as follows. You all should have received this ordinance in your packet, and I hope you've had a chance to read it. It is simply a clarification, if you will, of the ordinance that we already have. We've got several abandoned cars that have been in Vienna for a number of years, and so we're simply giving our code enforcement officer some more tools in his toolbox in order to take care of some of these abandoned vehicles. Mr. Skogstad, you drafted this. Any comments?
Hopefully, in speaking with Kevin, hopefully this will allow code enforcement a way to deal with some of the properties that have been consistent problems as far as having junk, particularly junk motor vehicles on the property. Our former ordinance didn't allow us to deal with private property. This will allow us a way to deal with that. And it allows the property owner an avenue to address the issue. Hopefully it's a compromise that can satisfy them.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion on first reading for the ordinance amending 114501, the definitions 114505, the authority to take possession of abandoned vehicle, and 1145.10, junk on private property of the Vienna Municipal Code, changing the definition of junk motor vehicles and requirements for property owners to cover or house junk motor vehicles on personal or private property.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the ordinance on first reading, amending 1145.01. Is there any further discussion?
I had a couple questions just for clarification. So when I looked at what the proposed ordinance is, the amendment, and compared it to what's currently online, I had a question of why were H and I removed, and then H is now the part about the car cover? Because in the original ordinance, H has a definition of what motor vehicle means, and then I is about old vehicle tires, and they aren't in the amended version. And if that was just an oversight,
The intent is not to remove I, the intent is to change the definition of H, so that, to change the definition of motor vehicle to junk motor vehicle.
Okay, because it says junk motor, in the original, junk motor vehicle means a motor vehicle or any part thereof other than on,
On-premises
yeah.
farm utilities vehicle.
So, because, I guess my confusion, because you go down to H and it defines what a motor vehicle is, but including but not limited to automobiles, trucks, buses, motorcycles, etc.
Right. There's a statutory definition for motor vehicle. We distinguish that with paragraph G, junk motor vehicle. And the primary difference in the subparagraphs 1 through 4 is that under our present ordinance that requires an and, so you have to have an inspection sticker and it's not really clear. And so what this does is it changes essentially that to an or. So people have to do things to keep these, to put vehicles in repair, to put them in a condition that they can pass inspection and so forth. But as far as removing the junk tires, it's not the intent to remove anything about the tires.
Okay, so I will remain the way
Yeah,
it is. Okay.
Yes, it should. This was just a model. Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Because if I remember correctly, I changed the definition of H to motor vehicles, and I don't remember exactly how I did it. But the intent was not to remove that. The intent is to modify the definition of a junk motor vehicle.
Okay.
So that it's something that is more easily, I don't want to say easily enforced, but more clearly defined and enforceable.
Yeah, because that's good, because I don't want to see I go away.
Yeah, we don't want to take tires out either. I don't want to have 10 years ago when we had West Mount. We don't want to repeat that.
And so my other question is in 1145.10, this is all new code that you put in here.
Yes.
C, where it talks about any owner of a vehicle or the owner of any public or private property that allows a junk vehicle as defined in 1145.01G to be placed upon it shall, unless the owner is actively and presently servicing and repairing said vehicle, keep the vehicle under a car cover. So my question is, and maybe I just didn't read it closely enough, can somebody have a vehicle that's a nuisance vehicle as long as it has a car cover on it on their own property?
Yes.
Okay.
The intent of that is, you'll have guys, I'm a car guy, there are a lot of people that are car guys. I don't want to prevent people from repairing cars in the front yards. But what you're trying to do is balance that against neighbors that have issues with individuals who just leave stuff out there to use it for storage and so forth. So what I wanted to do was to allow a guy who's got a 66 Buick in his front yard to work on the 66 Buick, not expect him to get the entire project done in a day. But when he's done working on it, he puts the cover back on it. The neighbors don't have to look at an eyesore or what they could perceive as an eyesore. And, but it allows him the opportunity to work on the vehicle, have it be uncovered, but take into consideration that the neighbors may not appreciate it the same way.
Right, and I think that's fine. I just want to make sure that it doesn't mean that if you have a vehicle that doesn't have a valid registration on it, doesn't have a valid, inspection sticker, maybe has sitting on blocks, I don't know. It's obviously not, you're just storing it on your front yard with a car cover over it. Is that legal?
It could do that. I mean, there's no way to perfectly balance this. You're trying to deal with an issue, the neighbors aren't happy, and you're trying to allow people that aren't causing trouble to go about their business and do that. And hopefully have an avenue to deal with folks that just buy a 77 Chevy van and then use it for a storage. So, I'm not trying to be cute. There's no perfect way to do it.
No, I'm just trying to be clear. I just want to understand it. It is the workaround for somebody that has a vehicle like this to put an appropriate car cover as defined in this over their vehicle, and they're going to be fine, and we're not going to go through this whole thing.
I think so. I think they could do that.
On the flip side, you've got like in G2, Kevin could start enforcing this with an inspection sticker as little as 60 days expired. Okay? And so I agree, there's a balance that we have, an early enforcement option and a remedy that still protects the individual people's rights. I've never had a junk car.
Right.
So I agree with Russ. I think that if you keep a clean car cover on and so on, maybe that's someone else's potted plant.
Right. I mean, I'm for this ordinance. That's not the issue. I just want to know exactly
I think-
how it works because, it seems like, that's fine.
I like every other one. hit or miss.
Yeah, I think that I just couldn't think of a way, and maybe I'm just not clever enough, that allows a guy to work on, or allows somebody to work on their car. And isn't using it for storage or, as a garbage dump. But also gives people that have to live in a neighborhood where the guy who's got 3 cars that he's going to get to, they have to keep looking at it every time they drive by it. This was the compromise that I could come up with. I was talking to Kevin about he thought it would be more helpful than the ordinance we have now, because our present ordinance only deals with vehicles that are parked in the street. It does not deal with private property.
Any further questions? All right, then I'll call for the question. Madam Recorder, would you poll the council, please?
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Leach?
Yes.
Mr. Rapp?
Yes.
I say yes. Mr. Mancuso?
Yes.
Mr. Azinger?
Yes.
There we go. All right, Matt, and the ordinance passes on first reading unanimously. It will be back on our agenda at the next meeting. Second item this evening is a budget item. Councilman Leach, do you want to take us through that, or do you want me to do it, sir?
Why don't you go ahead and do that?
All right. So it's a resolution establishing the salary increases for full-time permanent employees, salary increases for non-seasonal part-time employees, and to increase the starting wages for all new full-time employees. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Vienna that all full-time permanent employees and all non-seasonal part-time employees, as well as the starting rate for permanent full-time employees, shall receive a wage increase for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024 as follows. All current full-time permanent employees shall receive an hourly wage increase of 65 cents in addition to the annual hourly longevity pay increase of 35 cents per hour for a total of $1 per hour. All current non-seasonal part-time employees shall receive an hourly wage increase of $1 per hour. All new hire full-time employee positions shall receive a starting pay increase of $1 per hour. And this goes into effect on July 1 of 2023. So I'll entertain a motion for the resolution establishing salary increases for full-time permanent employees, salary increases for non-seasonal part-time employees, and to increase the starting wages for all new full-time employees.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution establishing the salary increases. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then I'll call for the question. All those in favor, please poll the council.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Leach?
Yes.
Mr. Rapp?
Yes.
I say yes. Mr. Mancuso?
Yes.
Mr. Azinger?
Yes.
All right, motion passes unanimously. The last item on our agenda this evening is a update on the pool. Recorder Elam, please.
Yeah, so we've, after we had our final review of the documents and drawings and everything, we have, there were some questions that came out of that, things we had to check on, things we had to double check, and all of those have been answered. They're in the process of right now of getting the final approval back from the health department and the fire marshal. So as soon as they have that, then they can get it out the bed. So that's all we're waiting on right now.
Okay. All right, that concludes our agenda for this evening. Are there any council comments this evening? Mr. Azinger, we'll let you go first.
I'd like to have put on the agenda for the next meeting, an in-depth discussion of police recruitment.
All right, we can do that. Anything else? Tom?
Thank you.
All right,
No, sir.
okay. I hope you were able to hear the presentation for Sergeant Britton.
I did. Boy, that was 1 out of 555 is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and all the other things that came along with it. I think this is great, and for Vienna to be ranked #1 in the state, that's pretty impressive too. So, congratulations.
Yeah, I think we ought to be thankful for our police department
Yes.
and fire department
Yes.
and all departments.
All right. Any other council comments this evening?
Just let you know that our remedial action work plan was approved by the DEP, version 5, and so we'll be moving toward the final report. Because the remedial action work has already been done. So plans been approved, everything that was done, and so.
All right. No other comments this evening? Meeting adjourned. Thank you for attending, Kathy.
So my wife and I were at dinner, and I'm like, I gotta
You know, that's a problem right there. Tom will
Well,
see
it's
you.
a short one.
Thank you.